Chaco Canyon, New Mexico. At sunrise. The impressive pueblos here date back to 900 AD. They remained the largest buildings in North America until the 19th century. Preserving them, and similar ruins all over the Southwest, is an intricate and ongoing task.
We don't use the term restoration because that means something different to us. So restoration in our vocabulary means something that you've totally rebuilt and redone, and we haven't done that. So what we've tried to do is preserve and stabilize, and that means we're interested in preserving what's original about the structure.
We don't try to do any reconstruction at all if we can avoid it. We try to be proactive.
We want to keep what's original there and not impact it, but make sure that it lasts for the next 800 years.
Preservation methods have changed immensely since the need was first recognized, beginning with the Civilian Conservation Corps, part of FDR's New Deal.
In the 1930s, when the CCC was here, we're talking about a totally different place than you visit today. They'd been excavated, a lot of the big ones, like Pueblo Bonito and Chetro, but after that, they were just left exposed. They'd been buried for 1,000 years, and now they were exposed to wind, rain, and damage from the elements and from visitation.
So like the cement that totally changes the way the structure was, how it looked, how it was, the mortar changed color when they tinted it and it reacted with sunlight. And so instead of being the nice red that it was supposed to be, now it's fluorescent purple. They didn't test it and thought, oh, it was really great. It was really hard. You could tint it any color and it would last forever and these things would be preserved. And what it's done is actually done more harm than good.
There has been some effort at undoing some of the stuff that was done historically, and you got to give them credit. They recognized the problem was there and that they had to do something about it, so it's just that their techniques. In 50 years, somebody's going to look at what we've done and go, what were they thinking?
The methods may be different, but as Blasek points out, the goal remains the same.
The work that they did is pretty much what our preservation crew does today. They build capping. They build about a foot of sandstone on top of all the walls to protect them, to keep water from getting inside, and they repoint. So that's to fill in mortar where it is eroded away.
In order to keep environmental and human-caused damage to a minimum, crews at each park use several stabilization methods.
Basically, the standard stabilization techniques involve removing rotten sandstone, repointing the walls, recapping. Occasionally there's a catastrophic event that requires like an emergency repair type job. We use, for most of the repointing and for most of the masonry in the walls, when we're replacing sandstone or repointing, we use earthen mortar, which is amended with Darweld, which is an acrylic. We use that for the stabilization in the walls. The wall caps, we usually use a little bit of cement for the wall caps, and then we put Darweld on top of the cement, so you never see the cement. All you see is the earthen mortar. But it helps tremendously to keep water from migrating through the wall cap.
Wupatki's famous ball court site. Archaeologists like Baldwin are concerned with accuracy as well as preservation.
What you're seeing is based on what they found there as they excavated it. It's a really great example of how things were done correctly. So what you're seeing is based on actually what was there. It wasn't somebody thinking, oh, this is what a ball court should be and we're going to build it this way. And we've discovered that that's the best way to preserve stuff. So it was actually excavated in the 30s and then again in the 50s, and then they just kind of left it open instead of backfilling it to preserve it. And so what was happening is that all the original fabric was eroding and the floors were eroding below floor level, and so that really starts impacting the walls and you get differential fill levels. So on one side of the wall you've got fill up to here and on the other side it's down here, and that wall starts bowing. And we do a lot of documentation, so we're looking at that as a form of preservation. So if you can't save a structure totally, at least you can document everything about it.
Maintaining a balance in these projects is key. Stabilization refers to not only preservation of a building, but also perseverance of a culture.
We do a lot of consultation with the tribes, and the tribes feel that these places have a life cycle, and so basically like ours, they're born, they live, they die, and so these things are supposed to naturally erode. They are very understanding that people are very interested in it and that we have a federal mandate to preserve these places, and so they're really open to that and finding that balance between their wishes and our wishes. And also I think that children are losing some of that cultural heritage, and so us keeping these places open and allowing them to visit, that's kind of helping this younger generation traditionally maybe have that connection.
When you consider it was up another story, when you imagine this being up, I mean, this was enormous. It was an enormous human undertaking. It was the heartbeat of the human spirit. And we all share that.